Well, welcome to Personal Bankruptcy Canada, a place where we talk about financial issues affecting Canadians. I'm Wayne Kelly, and joining me today, I've got David Smith, the trustee in bankruptcy and the founder of Personal Bankruptcy Canada. Hey, David, it's that time of year when people go into crazy debt just for Christmas.
Right. It whether we start the season with debt, it's often that we end the season with more debt, or we're in debt for the first time, perhaps. I'd really encourage people to really be honest with themselves and with their budget, their finances. So spend what's affordable. Plan your Christmas, plan your holiday time, plan who you're going to give gifts to, plan how much you can afford to spend, and where you can, spend nothing. Spend very little. Give a gift of time. Take somebody out for an inexpensive coffee on a regular basis. One of the things that my daughter has talked to me about is giving a coupon booklet to somebody. And the coupon is a self-made coupon booklet to say, I will shovel the walks of snow one time. I will clean up after dinner. I will take you for a coffee. And so the person that gets the gift can pull out the coupon book and say, now's the time. And they say, oh, no problem, that was my gift to you. And it's fun and it's inexpensive.
Yeah, but there's this whole thing that it just shocks me how much money and how much debt people go into at Christmas. Why is it that they can budget through the entire year, but when Christmas comes, they throw that all away and, boom, let's use the credit cards?
Well, and I think probably it's a lot of societal expectations. It's the expectations placed on us. Corporations spend an enormous amount of money advertising to us, trying to reinforce that behavior that now is the time to spend to buy a gift. And so we have to realize their motivation is about profits for them. And we have to recognize our own constraints and limitations on our own budget and not be sucked in, lured to this advertising that doesn't fit our own budget and circumstances. And the other part is to question our own beliefs around the thoughts of giving gifts. What is it for? Who is it important? Who do I want to buy a gift for? How do I restrain, I guess, what society's expectations are and say, I'm going to try to fit in with society largely, but I'm also going to be true to myself, and I don't have to buy an expensive gift for person A, and it doesn't fit in my budget, so I'm not going to. That person will understand. We'll still have a good relationship. We can do other inexpensive things together.
Have you ever been upset when somebody didn't buy you an expensive gift?
Exactly, and the answer is absolutely no, right? And in fact, I can tell you that because of my business and the people I work with and help every day, I have a lot more respect when I know somebody didn't spend a lot of money when they didn't have the money. And it scares me, and I don't like to see it when somebody I know doesn't have much money and they've spent a lot. And so it's not this thank you, isn't this wonderful? It's the sense of, oh, I wish you hadn't. Sincerely, I wish you hadn't, because it's not necessary.
And this is why it's so great to have you on the show, because you're coming to us with the perspective of somebody who deals with financial trouble with Canadians all the time. This is what you're working with. So when you see people spending this kind of money, and the numbers can be astronomical. I mean, you have 3 kids. They're buying the latest, the Xbox gadgets, which are $300, $400, $500 per child, which seems ludicrous to me. But people do it, and then they spend months and sometimes years paying this off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We see where people have gone on a trip or bought a present years in advance, have never paid it off, and are coming in to declare a bankruptcy or file a proposal because they're finally saying, this is not working for me, I need a fresh start. And really the goal here with what we're talking about today is how do people live within their means, have a great Christmas, and not have to come and see me as a trustee?
And people don't need to feel guilty about this, but what's your advice to the parents who have spoiled their kids in the past, and now they want to live within their means? What's your advice to the parent on how they have a conversation with the kids?
Sure. Thanks for asking that. That's a tough conversation to have, and I can certainly empathize with somebody that they don't want to go there. And so first thing is know that it's hard, and so any way of approaching it is hard, and any way you approach it is good, because it's a conversation that needs to have happen. And it starts by saying, what we've been doing in the past was something we don't regret. That's who we were. That's what we understood. But we have a new awareness of our finances that we didn't have before, and now we want to talk about this new awareness and what we can afford and what we can't afford, and how if you have the money and you want to spend it on expensive gifts, great. But that doesn't necessarily mean your life is better than anyone who's not spending a lot of money on presents. In fact, oftentimes it's the opposite. We spend more time talking about real issues, engaged listeners and conversations with those that we love, is making our lives more meaningful, their lives more meaningful, and it didn't cost anything. And what is more important really than having a frank conversation with your own kids around money, expectations, how we can still have a great life and spend less, and we can do without that item, or budget for it and buy it next year, when we've saved up for it, and it'll be more worthwhile, more fulfillment in having worked hard to a goal together and bought it when we had the money.
I have to share one little story with you, because we've never gone extravagant with gifts, and I was sitting here as I was preparing for this interview thinking, on the last 15, 20 years of gift giving for my children, what were the things that I bought them? And I could not really come up with anything, but the one thing that I gave my son when he was like 6 or something is we bought him this bag of nacho chips for like $5 that was bigger than he was, and a big bag of the cheese. And we made this big gift box out and made it look like it was spectacular. And it was probably like 15 years ago, and he laughed so hard. He was rolling on the floor laughing over this gift, and that to me was the greatest Christmas gift we ever gave.
Yeah. Isn't that's so fun, and that's what life is about, having those kinds of moments and enjoyment and happiness out of things, and it isn't about the most expensive stuff we buy. It's about the meaningful times that we can share together, and it can be around a gift, but it certainly doesn't need to be around an expensive gift.
Yeah, great advice, and thank you very much for being on the show. Anything else you need to pass along?
Well, just that I really hope people are able to think about their finances, look around them as to what is going to make the best sense for their family, and that they have a very happy holiday time living within their means.
Terrific. David Smith, thank you very much for being on the show today. And if you need more information about this, you can go to personalbankruptcycanada.ca.